Hello everyone, it feels totally rejuvenating to stand here in front of you in person after so many presences online in the pandemic times. When you think about the future, the one thing which you can be totally confident and sure about is the change. And it wasn't different when it comes to this date, the normal date, the 30th of November 2022. And nevertheless, the whole world changed. Maybe at the beginning, when you come back to this November or December, the last days of the year 2022, you haven't noticed it yet, but I'm sure that at the beginning already of 2023, you have heard this name, ChatGPT. What they did was quite spectacular, because for the first time in history, somebody during only the 5 days have collected 1 million users. It didn't happen before, and as you see, the difference even to the iPhone expansion was substantial. So without any doubt, you can talk about a revolution. About a revolution which probably you could even compare to the internet one. But come on, internet was created to connect the people, and AI, it was created to replace them. I wouldn't say replace, but maybe you recall a lot of people led webinars about it. Will AI replace you at work? Will AI replace you as product manager? Maybe product owner? I would rather say if you want to learn and use the technology, it is gonna enable you, not replace. On the other hand, maybe you've met as well this statement or something similar to what Will Knight said, that it used to be widely believed and thought that creative work can be performed only by humans. But after this November day, it must be reconsidered. We persist Gen AI as the technology which is capable of creating the things. But please remember, Gen AI is not only AI. A lot of people think, oh, AI, so Gen AI, direct association. But it's not the case. AI generally was with us already earlier. Even Gen AI was with us already since 50s of the last century, right? But only the hardware in capabilities, only the missing technology, also the computing power stopped it until that moment. So what makes Gen AI so special? Obviously, as you can also see, and I think that pretty much explains why we have heard so much about Gen AI in the last year, is this hype cycle of prepared by the Gartner Institute, which demonstrate clearly that exactly Gen AI is currently at the peak of inflated expectations. So that's why probably it was so much present in the last months. But on the other hand, is it the next hype? Does it mean that maybe the next year another AI technology will conquer our world? I wouldn't say so, not necessary. And why is that? It is because Gen AI entered our business world as the first, I think, or one of the biggest presences of the technology. So not only Microsoft is using that, but also many different others, right? So we have as well all the hyperscalers, all the cloud technologies, right? So Amazon Bedrock. We have as well the Vertex AI provided by Azure. We have as well something which already can be used, Atlassian Intelligence and Copilot, still paid version, but available. So that's why I don't believe it is just a hype. It is something which will stay with us for a long time, I think forever. And now just to a little bit rejuvenate you as well, I would like you to grab your phones and answer 2 questions which will be connected to AI, obviously, and some beliefs which we might have. Some of them will be true. So I will give you a couple of seconds. All right, and the first question will be connected to the number 70. So what do you think? Does the 70 indicate this value? One answer is true. Let us see already directly here. All right, so a lot of us believe that the failure ratio of AI project is pretty high. I'm not saying that's not true. I think for the time being we are in the proof of concepts stage, so probably you can't really assess it fully. But the second answer is the correct one, right? So the 70% of the companies, according to the Gartner Institute, will prioritize ethical and sustainable AI when it comes to the plans. And let's then proceed with the second question, which is the number 35. And here 2 answers are the correct one. So let's try to answer. What will happen by the 2025? All right, so the majority of you is voting for the second option, which is absolutely true. And also the first option is true, which doesn't mean, according obviously to the research, but it doesn't mean that the last option, which you also anticipate, is not going to be true. Currently, according to different sources, we have like the 14 different areas of AI, but this number is growing, obviously. So I think this tendency will be true as well. All right. Apart from that, so we already have heard that the Chief AI Officer will be a position which will be also desired and offered by many companies. But it goes together very well with the product-led growth. Product-led growth, so a perfect example of the product development led by such companies as, for example, the Slack, like, for example, Scape, right? So also inviting product people to the strategy, to the board level. And that's why as well, chief product officers will be in high demand as the research shows. So all this together, if we ask ourselves, how can we jump on this technology train, which is about to departure, or maybe has just departure, as product managers and product owners? I think the answer is pretty straightforward. Let's become AI product owners, if you haven't yet, because I think the most of you, as we'll see, already is using some tools. So what does it mean for me? First of all, we have to be aware that the number of AI tools is exponentially growing. So here you have only comparison of the 2022 November, so exactly the time when ChatGPT was announced, the public version, because we had the previous versions which were private to the restricted number of people available. And then you see more, right? So it means for sure constant learning, but also choosing some tools and sticking to them. Yeah, if you choose already one tool which is devoted to some particular activity, please stick to it and really explore its capabilities, because every next tool will be quite similar, right? I don't recommend jumping, just trying. Obviously you can try, but with the time being, please stick and explore a few. It's better to choose a few and use than just jump all the time. As well, team up with AI, use it on the daily basis. And what does it mean? It can be very simple, right? I'm PO in the SAP world. I'm responsible for the profitability and performance management product, which is, you can imagine, a big calculator. And we have a lot of technological parts in SAP which you may not be familiar with, especially when you are coming from not the SAP related background as I am. So then it is very simple. If you don't know what's, for example, TLS 1.2, ask ChatGPT, right? Explain me like I'm 5. I found it quite helpful also for my peers who don't have technical background. This is what you can do for sure. On the other hand, as well, in our fast-paced environment, sometimes we don't have time to write exactly with the intention we'd like to have. So here you have a simple feature which I know is also offered by Atlassian Intelligence, just to rewrite according to your intention, right? So here, for example, we want to be more supportive, sound more supportive and empathetic. What we can also do, so for me this is a vibrant topic, preparation for audits, and also among others the SOC 2 audit. And here I can show you even, I think, the live example. So using some plugins with connected with ChatGPT. So for example, here the diagrams show me you can easily generate different charts. All right, maybe I will jump here. The images will show you in a better way. So also the mind maps, right? If you think, okay, SAP web application release, then as well, you can somehow structure your thoughts. And what's also very important, you can edit it, yeah? Here, the plant UML, maybe some of you have used it before. I used it before, also before this Gen AI era. Now you can already generate it and then edit according to your needs. And here I have also one example when it comes to writing user stories. What I do a lot, we try to follow the BDD approach, and I use it for example, structuring my Gherkin, right? So here I can show you already in chat GPT the user story which was generated. Obviously, it can be as well adjusted by you. My experience is it doesn't work 100% well, right, and good. So still I need to adjust some little details, but then basing on that, we can generate the Gherkin structure and scenarios, which helps me as product owner to structure my requirements and my thought process as well. So this is what is very helpful for me. And then please remember, build meaningful AI solutions. This is the situation I already experienced a lot of times, and I think a lot of us did. When you talk to salespeople, then they are asking you all the time, okay, but Marta, have you incorporated in your roadmap some AI functionalities? Doesn't matter what, doesn't matter, you know, it is not about our users really using this functionality. It is just that our product will declare, all right, we also are gonna build some Gen AI functionalities in, because it means that the product follows the main trends and also the direction the technology develops. So here, very important for me, being AI product owner, it doesn't mean just using some functionalities, but really meaningful ones, which really go together with the intention you have when it comes to the product. And then it is also about taking care of privacy, right? So when you have ChatGPT, for example, or BART, because this is also the tool I used to use, think about the confidential data. What we implemented in my company, in the SAP world, is the private sandbox for the private company usage, and in this way all the confidential data may be connected to the business rules, stay in the context. What you can also do, for example, with Llama 2, this is the product of Microsoft, of Meta, of Meta, not Microsoft. They also allow you to create your own large learning models. Yeah, so this is something you can use for that. So this is also being mindful about the privacy. If you haven't had such opportunity with the private sandbox, you can also take this initiative to your companies and then maybe think about it. And last but not least, obviously you can also create your own chat GPT or GPT, not chat GPT, but this is also gonna be a chat. Such possibility is already available when it comes to the portfolio of OpenAI. And for example, in my context, so this preparation for all the audits, being compliant with product standards, right? This was very important for me to have such a supporter to advise me, for example, when it comes to writing user stories, whether maybe I have forgotten about something. Yeah? And here I have also an example for you. This is also uploaded to my YouTube, Digitally Hair, if you would like to follow. And basically, you can get and also instruct your GPT to advise you in many different ways, right? Giving you also the connections to the sources and remembering about many different areas. And what is also important, we in our current work deal a lot with data. We could say that we are as product owners sitting on this data, but not so much gathering them because maybe it is expensive. And if it is expensive, then maybe we also don't have the idea how to use it. And this is important also for me as AI product owners. You shouldn't really be a dragon. You shouldn't sit as on gold on this data and don't use it. You should be rather a squirrel, right? Have everything organized, everything being applied as well, and the conclusions driven from this one. So, to sum it up, could you ask, is it really the future? Are we talking about the product owners of the future as the AI product owners? I think it's the reality which is currently present with us, and it will be because the transformation already happened and it won't be changed. And at the end, I would like to give you this quote with the author unknown. What we don't understand, we fear. What we fear, we judge as evil. And what we judge as evil, we attempt to control. And what we cannot control, we attack. So I would like to encourage every of you today to learn and use the products, AI technologies, so that we aren't replaced, we aren't somehow afraid to be replaced, but we are enabled by artificial intelligence. If you would like to find me, I'm on LinkedIn. You can find me on LinkedIn. I'm also, as Marcin said, writing the blog Digitally Hair. As well, I have my own podcast, Product Space. I invite you to visit one of the channels, just direct message me, and then we can have a talk about AI and also about technology, because I'm helping as well non-technical professionals with non-technical backgrounds succeed in IT. And obviously, I'm staying as well for the further discussions, so looking forward. Thank you. I think it's time for questions.
Yes, thank you. I told you she's a superhero. Okay, imagine I'm 5, not 45. I saw a couple of screenshots from ChatGPT, and there were only one screen from Google Bard. What is wrong with Google Bard? What is wrong with Google? They have everything. They have data, they have people, they have knowledge, they have everything to be on the top. But from my perspective, on the top is ChatGPT. What is wrong? What is wrong with Google Bard, with Google Gemini right now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's true in the past, and I have to admit I used BART in the past quite a lot. What I enjoyed when it comes to BART was, for example, the explanation which you get at the end, right? But on the other hand, what I observed, the only use case where really Google was helpful was connected to the knowledge, right? So, for example, the same as, for example, you Google just something, that was exactly which was helpful for me. But apart from that, I mean, for each and every use case, ChatGPT really exponentially made the better job, as well when it comes to integrations, when it comes to proceeding the documents, when it comes to so many different plugins, and also this freedom to develop your own tools.
Any questions?
Maybe not more of the question, but I think right now we have Gemini Ultra, and it has very good reviews. I think it's not yet available to like developers, but you know, everyone like that's tested it says a lot of good things about it. So we might change the mind. You know, BART might not exist in a couple of weeks, and we might have something else to compete. OpenAI.
Thank you. Who's next? Yes, please.
So, hello, Marta. It's really great to meet you. So I wanted to ask about using ChatGPT to creating user stories, because you mentioned that you're using that. How do you take care about like the data privacy of what you're, for example, building, and at the same time using ChatGPT to create user stories?
So here I have the answer regarding so connected to the sandbox, right, which I'm using. So this one particularly, which is available in the SAP world, and here I have also GPT engines available. Yeah, so all the models when it comes to, you see here, for example, it's 3.5, but also version 4.0. So. When you don't have such possibilities, then obviously it's more difficult, and that's what I meant as well with this privacy, because we have to be very careful, right? So for sure, not sensitive data, not confidential ones. What I can offer, because also before it existed, I also tried it. I tried to anonymize somehow the company-related stuff so that you have the structure, but still it's anonymized.
Okay, and another question about this internal ChatGPT or sandboxed playground, let's say. Did you create that, or it was like the team and a company that of developers that created that?
The team. The team.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Who's next? Any question? Please.
Hello, Marta. Quick one. Where do you think you are not getting the correct results whenever you use any prompts using AI?
Could you repeat the first part, because I didn't?
Where you don't get the desired results in a right way using models.
Yeah. So for sure, when it comes, for example, to creating the images, right? I am using for that DALL-E 3, and there, when it comes to the text, still the titles are not working. Yeah. So for this, I always struggle to omit to not get any titles, so that after that I can in post-production add some additional ones. So this is one example, and. Well, when it comes to the others, I'm not sure I am able to answer in a specific use case, but it happens from time to time, right? So always, I have to check whether really the structure is correct. 80% it is, but it isn't working, still in the best way for the user stories, for example. Yeah?
The first
So, like coming back to that internal ChatGPT, was it like the idea within the company, or you needed to convince the company to actually create something like internal tool based on ChatGPT?
So SAP is a big ecosystem, and we want to go together with the technological trends. So obviously, the idea appeared, but I think we didn't have to very much convince anybody that this is the direction we want to go as well.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, please.
When the ChatGPT is enabled for the company internally, right? Is it less smart than the usual ChatGPT, which is open source? I'm just asking because my company also enabled it. I don't have the access yet, but they say that it's like our own ChatGPT. They bought the license from Microsoft, and it's called different in my company, but it is ChatGPT. We know that. It's just I'm just curious. Is it the same what we're getting open publicly, or internally? Is it worse? I mean, is it less smart because it's offline or something like that?
So to answer that, you have to understand how it works, right? So at the beginning, you have pre-trained models, right? So with this regard, and here you can even read and test. Yeah, for example, I think for even version 3.5 for sure, the training was ended like at the end of 2021 something. So you can observe when you ask about the events which happened later that the chat won't be aware of that, right? So the same relates to these models. So still you have pre-training, but the difference is that the public one learns from all the prompts which we are feeding the chat. Obviously not in the real time, but it is a supervised learning after that, right? And the difference is your company chat will learn then with your staff. So I would say it is an advantage, right? That you can enrich the foundation, so the pre-trained model, with the data which are specific for your business, yeah? So that it is the combination of both worlds. Probably the company, so for sure, the company doesn't want to expose everything to the outside world. And here it is possible to train the model so that still it is available for the employees, for example.
Yep, thank you.
Last question. All right.
Yeah, but it probably won't be a question, but mostly sharing an experience with Azure GPT, because here in this screenshot we can see that Azure OpenAI is used. So this is a private installation from Microsoft, and for example, in our company we also have this private installation, and it supports GPT-4. It's paid for sure and expensive, but comparing to OpenAI, which we all use and know, it kind of sucks, unfortunately, because the UI is pretty bad, and it doesn't support data analysis, for example. It doesn't support any images generation. So mostly you have the same form. It looks absolutely different, but still. And you can't do a lot there, and UI is pretty bad. It's pretty hard to switch between different contexts. So if you want to use safe installation inside the company, current state of Azure GPT is pretty bad, but it's usable. But in reality, nobody wants to use that, as it's just not so powerful. Is open source version which you can just buy. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. It doesn't come without any drawbacks. Yeah. So as you see, the UI absolutely is not nothing in comparison to the public version, and yeah, we don't have the integration with plugins or, for example, with image, right, documents. So this is for sure. But what I do value is using the confidential data. Yeah. So this is then the advantage. But I do agree.